Greetings of peace. We are at peace. We are one on our own land. We are indigenous, nationals, all Moors and tribes. And this is our sovereign court, the Supreme Court. This court now begins judicial proceedings. I, self-law, am Master Eagle Psalm Chief Justice Harold Keith Walker, my born appellation, and for the Universal Moorish American Consulate Court, and for the Moorish National Republic Federal Government, and for the Moorish American people, who are the original indigenous people, all rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is a sovereign, living, ancient Article 3 Consular Court action, cause number 001-359-0001, recorded in our Shelby County Circuit Court on 2025, July 14th, and processed by Post Office mailing numbers 7014-2870, 0002, 3159, 4818, and tracking number 9490, 9402, 9330, 5002, 5857, 76. This cause is for the constitutional violations and unlawful occupation of indigenous people land at Morocco, Turtle Island, northwest of Mexico. I, Eagle Psalm Harold Mujibay, my chosen appellation, in propria persona, sui juris, in propria haeredis, in ready, living, ancient, in full life, do conduct this court action for the Moorish American people on this date, Thursday, 2025, July 31st at 10:30 antemeridian, to adjudicate and render judgment to the violation stated. Court consideration. It is the duty to the minister of law to consider and adjudicate the affairs and matters for the benefit of the people in alignment with natural law and principles. Considering the doctrine of discovery, it had for centuries one basic tenet to support its activities, and that is discovery. In that construct, it means to find or found, and it infers to mean to keep. The phrase finders, keepers, losers, weepers is the foundation for this argument to have or possess that which belongs to another. As relevant to the matter to adjudicate here, another's estate, lost estate, and found estate by reversion. Biblical text, Leviticus chapter 6, verse 3, and Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 1 through 4, address property found of another's. The responsibility and obligation of having come to possess another's property is to find the owner of that property, of that lost property, and return it. So does our Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1789-1791, Article 22, whereby it specifically outlines the responsibility of how the property belonging to another, who are the heirs to that property, is to be handled. This court has the matter at hand to determine with clean hands and to adjudicate. This cause of action is hereby placed on the public record, for the public record, and letting the public record show that the United States corporation company persons are hereby called for at this time. The matter to take cognizance of presented for this court is unlawful occupation of indigenous people's land and constitutional violations. The following U.S. citizens commanded to appear today by summons with cause will be asked 3 questions to state their name, nationality, and answer to the unlawful activities for the record. To be placed on the record, and no questions to this court are allowed. Each citizen will be asked 3 questions. When concluded with either response or no response for the information, the court then enters it with time into the written record. The court calls Martin O'Malley. The court calls Martin O'Malley. What is your name? Martin O'Malley. What is your name? Please state your name for the record. What is your nationality? Please state your nationality for the record. Are you aware, acting as Commissioner of Social Security Administration, of the constitutional violations to the 1789 and 1791 Constitution for the United States for America at Morocco that were unlawful acts against its people? The court records no response to the name question. (10:45). No response by Martin O'Malley to the nationality question. No response to the question of constitutional violations, acting as Commissioner of Social Security Administration. The court calls Bill Rogers. Bill Rogers. Bill Rogers. What is your name? Please state your name for the record. What is your nationality? Please state your nationality for the record. Bill Rogers, are you aware, acting as Chief Executive Officer of Truist Financial Corporation, of the constitutional violations to the 1789 and 1791 Constitution for the United States for America at Morocco that were unlawful acts against its people? Court called Bill Rogers and asked 3 questions, and there was no response. 10:47. The court calls Alex Chris. The court calls Alex Chris. The court calls Alex Chris. What is your name? Please state your name for the record. What is your nationality? Please state your nationality for the record. Alex Chris, are you aware, acting acting as Chief Executive Officer of PayPal Holdings Incorporated, of the constitutional violations to the 1789 and 1791 Constitution for the United States for America at Morocco that were unlawful acts against its people. The court records no response to the questions by Alex Chris, 1048. The court calls Travis Hill. The court calls Travis Hill. The court calls Travis Hill. What is your name? Please state your name for the record. What is your nationality? Please state your nationality for the record. Travis Hill, are you aware, acting as Chief Executive Officer of Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, of the constitutional violations to the 1789 and 1791 Constitution for the United States for America at Morocco that were unlawful acts against its people? Court will record by the faster clock. No response by Travis Hill to the three questions at 10:50. The court calls Jerome Powell. The court calls Jerome Powell. The court calls Jerome Powell. What is your name? Please state your name for the record. What is your nationality? Please state your nationality for the record. Jerome Powell, are you aware, acting as Chairman of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, of the constitutional violations to the 1789 and 1791 Constitution for the United States for America at Morocco that were unlawful acts against its people? Court recalls no response for a Jerome Powell. 10:52. Court calls Francis LaSala. The court calls Francis LaSala. The court calls Francis LaSala. What is your name? Please state your name for the record. What is your nationality? Please state your nationality for the record. Frank LaSala, are you aware, acting as Chief Executive Officer of Depository Trust Clearing Corporation, of the constitutional violations for the 1789 and 1791 Constitution for the United States or America and Morocco that were unlawful acts against its people? The court's no response. Review. S. Corporate citizen Frank LaSala. 10:55. The court calls Scott Besant. The court calls Scott Besant. The court calls Scott Besant. What is your name? Please state your name for the record. What is your nationality? Please state your nationality for the record. Scott Besant, are you aware, acting as Secretary of the Treasury of the United States Corporation Company, of the constitutional violations to the 1789 and 1791 Constitution for the United States for America and Morocco that were unlawful acts against people? U.S. Citizen Scott Besant, no response to the question. Court record no response at 10:58. Court now calls Michael Falklander. Court calls U.S. Citizen Michael Falklander. Michael Falklander. What is your name? Please state your name for the record. What is your nationality? Please state your nationality for the record. Michael Falklander, are you aware, acting as Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service Corporation, of the constitutional violation to the 1789 and 1791 Constitution for the United States for America at Morocco that were unlawful acts against his people. No response from U.S. citizen, corporate citizen, Michael Faulkner. We'll record no response at 10:59. This concludes the proceedings for this cause. This court on this date, 31st July 2025, on the matter of constitutional violations and unlawful occupation by United States corporation, company, corporate citizen. Document record site for this court action are placed at https://github.empire-state-of-Memphis-Tennessee.git. The video record will be posted and available on YouTube channel at Morris National Republic Court. It is the determination of this court for the people that constitutional violations and unlawful occupation ruling be for default and removal of the corporate citizens called for in this hearing. Judgment rendered. This court is adjourned.